All right, sir. We are talking Dune 2. We saw it last night. And I'll let you go first. How'd you feel about it?
I felt like I felt like there was a lot of world building.
Hmm.
Like it's very clearly a big. I haven't seen the first part. I only saw the first part of the Dune once, so I feel like there's a lot I probably forgot. Um, but I do get the impression it's a big universe, but to me it came across a little dis- disjointed. I think that's a good.
Disjointed.
I, I mean, it's another one of those. It also might have helped if I. It might have helped if I had read the book a bit more, but
Mm.
I mean, it's an interesting world. I'm interested to, just it also dragged a bit. I don't think it needed to be 2 hours and 45 minutes or however long.
Right.
It could have been a little bit shorter. Um, I didn't get what the point of that whole grayscale planet was. Um, we did get to see Drax act like Drax for about
we,
3 quarters of the movie,
we did.
which is something Disney never managed. Uh, and then the last quarter we got Disney Drax. Um, I also don't understand why the one guy who was like absolutely morbidly obese, like who's that guy? Boogie? Yeah, gave me Boogie vibes.
The Baron, right? That Baron guy. I forgot
Yeah,
his fucking name.
yeah. I don't quite understand why.
Fat Uncle Fester is what I called him.
Yes, yeah. I don't understand why they didn't like when Fat Uncle Fester was giving them shit. I don't really understand why they didn't just kill him.
Or they just chopped off his gravitational devices.
The
Oh
the
god.
the basically what this movie reminded me of. It was Game of Thrones in space.
Mm.
Uh, very vast world. I can tell they at least cared, so I'll give it credit for that. What are your thoughts?
No, yeah. So I watched the first one again because I think I saw the first one with you actually. And then I rewatched it again the day of. So yesterday, actually, I rewatched it. And before, because I knew I was going in, I just kind of had it on in the background while I was doing some writing. But so I like got a chance to get a second view of what's going on in the world and the conflict and things like that with the House Atreides and um, the spice and the demand for it and things like that. So, but as far as the world wise, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, you get a chance to like see the freemen and like the different areas, as far as geographical wise that they occupy. And then I thought the worm riding, like that whole thing, like I thought that was pretty fucking cool. I think the fucking CGI for this film is like amazing. Like, if that's one thing I will say, like the CGI in this fucking film is like spectacular. Like I
Uh,
can't go ahead.
I agree. No, they definitely they went an extra mile with that.
Like, and it's but it's so crazy just the work that we get from like Marvel and Warner as far as like the superhero films, right? And then it's like everybody rushes their work, and it's clearly rushed, and you can tell it's rushed because the quality of the VFX and the different scenes and things like that. And then you get Dune and Dune 2, and there's like legitimately a scene at the end of the movie where the worm is like coming toward them from like the barren land into like wherever where that headquarters is, and it's just like the big ass worm mouth just breaching the sand, and it's fucking insane. And I would just remember seeing that and be like, oh my gosh, like this is what it's supposed to look like. Like this looks legitimately real, like on screen. I fucking love that. But yeah, I love that. I loved the characterizations were fine. I loved Stigler. I think he was the one guy. You mentioned Star Wars in space. For me, I it covered a lot. I felt like I saw a lot of movies in there. You know, like Star Wars was one of them. The Matrix, like that was another one. Just this idea of you know
Oh, I saw Gladiator also.
yeah, Gladiator, you know, with the arena there in that movie, this concept of having the one, right? This savior, this person who's gonna, rise up and lead us to overcome, the powers that be essentially. And
I,
go ahead.
I actually had a question about that
Yeah.
because I was a little confused. Again, I only watched the first part once, and that was a couple years ago, so it's been a while. I was a little confused as to how much buy-in the main character Paul actually had to him being this Messiah. Like, does he earnestly believe it? Does he think it's a long con that his mom cooked up? Because I got both vibes at one point or another.
Well,
Um,
that's why I felt like it was more like a Matrix Neo and Morpheus situation going on between Paul Atreides and Stickler, because like I think that so in the first movie, his mom's like, "Oh, you're, you know, the savior, the messiah." And he's like, "I mean, you say I am, but like I don't feel like I am because I can't even do X, Y, and Z yet." So I don't know, like, if I'm truly who you think that I am at this point. So that's how I feel it was going in the first film. You know, it was kind of him just being like, I mean, you say I'm the savior, but like I don't think I'm the savior because I can barely do these things. So no one sees me as like an adult, really. No one really, I'm, a prince, so to speak, but people, they don't really take me seriously in the sense that I want to go out and do these certain things and be a part of these missions because I'm not ready, essentially. But you got the feel in the second film where I don't even know if the second film he even really felt that way. Particularly for him, it was more like, oh, like I have to lead these people. I have to, because I feel like it started off as revenge, right? When he wanted to get revenge for his family. That's how it started, and then his arc shifted to I got to protect these people. I got to take these people believe in me. I don't think I'm a prophet, but I'm going to do what I can to help them. And if that's what they believe, I have to act accordingly. So like, we can continue our mission, so to speak. So
so it's more like he doesn't buy into his role, but he's gonna do his damnedest to do right by the people. Okay,
but
that makes a little more sense.
yeah, that's how I took it, at least. And but yeah, I liked I think his name is Timothy Chalamet or whatever, but I thought he did well in his role. I thought everyone essentially did pretty well in their roles.
The acting across the board, I thought was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I never got the impression any of them were phoning it in.
Oh,
It
not at all.
it
Not at all.
just it seemed like a lot to take in on the first viewing.
Right.
So I mean, it's definitely better than anything else I've seen in the last like 6 months to a year. So
You're not wrong. These are facts. You are not wrong, sir. Yeah, the grayscale planet. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's just the atmosphere there at that particular planet or what. But I don't know if it's supposed to be more sinister. It's supposed to come off like more sinister. Who knows?
the the
Baron Harkonnen. Yeah, that was his name. Baron Harkonnen. Fatical Fester.
yeah, the only like effects thing I kind of struggled with was there were times when the glare actually hurt my eyes.
Okay.
And maybe that was deliberate, or maybe it's just because my eyes suck. But
It's like those transition scenes or
yeah,
moments. Yeah.
but it was only in the first act, which is, I'm glad that it got less used. But
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been that way deliberately, like to emphasize like the discomfort and the fact that they're in the middle of shitty Tatooine. Uh,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I don't mean that as like an insult. Like,
No, no,
it's
no, not at
supposed to
all.
be a shitty planet. Like,
No, yeah. Like the only thing it has going for it is the spice that you know people need. Like that's what it's got going for it.
and the other genuinely awkward, I think, plot element was the sandworm tism juice.
Oh, the sandworm tism juice, the sand serum. I forgot about.
Yeah, the water of life is what they call it in this. That seemed really weird to me. Um, so why do they have to like manually jump on the sandworms if they can literally just raise them? Like, because they knew exactly where to find the damn thing. A stage was built around it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So raise it.
Yeah, um, I don't know if it's because they just get too damn big. So it's like, and then once they start moving, they're like it's just a force, and they just really don't stop. I'm like curious how the fuck they get off these things. Like I'm just do like just like jump off. Like they're just going with God now, and they're just like, okay, we're just jumping on off. I don't know.
It's an Alaskan bullworm, is what it is. That's a deep cut SpongeBob reference, folks.
Oh, oh man. I don't know. It was very odd. It was like that whole um the serum there. Like I just like that legitimately gave me Matrix moments as well. You know, it's that scene where the scene where Morpheus goes and he's like, "Oh, if you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in bed and you believe what you want, and then if you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland and you see how deep the rabbit hole goes." And it's like in this movie, it's like, well, if you don't drink it, you live. If you do drink it, you die. But
But you get a moment of epiphany before you die.
yeah, you get a if you drink it, you'll get a moment of epiphany and then you die. It's like, okay.
um,
Oh,
the
man.
other thing that makes me a little confused about the mother is the fact that when she drinks the water the tism juice, uh, her son immediately is like, yeah, there's no magic about it. It wasn't. It was like it was planned. She's trained herself to avoid, dying from poisons.
From poison. Yeah.
So that's what makes me wonder. Like, does he? Like, that's what makes me think he just straight up doesn't buy into the whole Messiah thing. But then he's like, but he seems to trust his visions. Like
Yeah.
even before he took the tism juice, he trusted his visions enough to know that if I go south, billions of people are gonna die.
Are gonna
Like it's
die.
going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I'm a little confused as to where he stands on all this, and maybe I just didn't pick up on it on the first viewing. And I think that might help me follow through. Like just understanding his motivations at any given point would probably help me better understand what the hell was going on for the parts that confuse me.
Yeah.
Does that
Because
make sense?
no, it does. Because I feel like I would have to rewatch it as well to get a full grasp of, you know, just really like really paying attention to his motivations, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't to say it's badly written by any stretch. I think it's well written. It just lost me a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
because I don't know, because initially when it starts, you get the impression that he just wants revenge, right? He just wants to gather the freemen, gather as many people as he can, so he can take on the emperor and get his revenge. Like that's you get that. But then towards as we're progressing through the acts, you kind of get the sense that now he knows it's like bigger than just revenge now. It's like it's bigger than him settling a score. There's people who are relying on him. There's people that believe in this prophecy. He can't just lead these people to slaughter. He can't lead the land, to slaughter. He has to actually, you know, convince them or prove to them that he is worthy of the claim. But his whole thing was like he wanted to learn more about their culture, about who they are. I think it stopped being about revenge for him and
once he
more,
got laid,
huh?
once he got laid.
Oh man, love will get you killed. Love will get you killed, sir. But I mean, yeah, essentially, I mean, once he got laid, he was kind of like, oh, I want to be one of you guys now. But it was weird. There was a shift because I remember a scene he had with his like old mentor Halleck, I think it Gerner Halleck. He found there, and he was like talking about like we need to get revenge for your family, for your father, and you know Paul Atreides, he was just like, I mean, yeah, but I've got people here that need me. Like I just can't lead them into this battle for them to get murdered. Like I have responsibilities here. So it's but toward the so that there so whether there was a shift from that motivation of I need revenge to now like I have to take care and look after these people because they believe in me. Now toward the end of the film, I don't know what was going on because after he had that serum, he was like completely different.
It seemed like he completely bought into the legend.
Yes.
Essentially, he went
Yeah.
from he went from flat out not believing.
Yeah.
This is what I saw: flat out not believing to I don't believe it, but I'm gonna do my damnedest because these people need me either way, whether it's like whether the prophecy is true or not. They need me to I am the savior, and it seemed kind of abrupt.
Yeah. Like
I don't know. Maybe that's just me. It just seemed a little abrupt.
well, I hate bringing it back to the Matrix. I don't know because I think they just did it really well in that film, and I love that's probably one of my favorite films. I love it, but there's like an arc there with Neo where he doesn't believe he's the one, and then there's a moment where he's in a subway with Agent Smith, and Trinity's like, why isn't he running? And Morpheus goes, he's starting to believe. So there's a point where he doesn't believe the one, he's starting to believe, and then there becomes a point where he actually does believe he is the one, which changes his entire outlook. Literally changes it. So in this film, I don't know if he got to the point. I didn't like you said, it was rather abrupt where he was just like, okay, I took the serum here. Now I can see all these possible outcomes. I know which one I want to choose. Like, this is what we're doing. So it's like, do you believe you're Al Kahib or whatever? Do you believe you're the one now? Like, I don't know.
I think, and this was probably very deliberately done. I'm not sure if it was in the book or not. Again, because I haven't read it, and that's something I will probably want to change. I might want to read the book. Um, is the fact that supposedly he saw like his entire family's history,
Yeah,
but were they just referring to the fact that his mother was born to Fat Uncle Fester?
right.
Like, was that all they were referring to, or was it literally like your entire, like, understanding your entire family line? Was it almost a moment of omniscience?
I know it was like,
I guess I'm a little unclear on that. Like, what else did he see,
yeah. I mean,
if anything?
aside from the vision of just him and his sister, because he sees his sister, his unborn sister, so he sees her in the vision, and then she's like telling him specific things about their bloodline. But then he sees, Fat Uncle Fester being his grandfather. So like now But then once he's done with the vision, he like tells his mom, like, this is how we live because of his namesake. But it doesn't really go into,
Like why?
yeah, like what you mentioned, and like, I don't know, like it's like, okay, like that's your namesake, sure, but you're also from House Atreides, so I
And
don't
that's clearly the one you're. That's clearly the one he's loyal to, even at the end.
right,
Like,
right, yeah. He makes that awfully known. So I don't know. I don't know. Again, we're not the writing. I enjoyed the movie a lot. Like I liked it. There were just things that were confusing. That's all.
like I know we laugh about something being big brained and stuff. This actually seemed big brained to me,
Yeah, it
and
did.
like earnestly to
Yeah,
the point where it would be good, I think, to rewatch it and really focus on as many details as we can manage to put
correct.
together. Because I feel like it would benefit from a rewatch
Yeah,
as opposed to most movies that get worse on a rewatch.
yeah. No, I think it'd be probably more beneficial if we rewatch the first one, just get as many details as we can, and then proceed to watch the second one and get those details and line them up and compare and contrast. I think that's probably what would be best. So
I will be honest that his mother constantly talking to the baby fetus was freaking strange.
yeah,
Um,
like again, I don't know if that's in the book or not. Like it could be. I don't know. I didn't read the book, but it was like a little weird. It came off a little cringy as well to me. Like the baby's like, oh, what's he doing? What's he saying? Why the baby wants to know this? And it's like,
and it's like, especially if it was his baby sister that was giving him his vision quest, then clearly she knows all this shit because she is just as connected as he is. So what?
yeah.
I I I will be. There were moments I felt a little lost, but I didn't feel. I genuinely felt like I missed something rather than they didn't put it in. Does
Right.
that make sense?
No, it
Like,
does. It does. No, I feel the same way. I like there were moments like that were, and I was like, oh man, like was that? I'm like, I know I just rewatched the first one, but did they reference that? Like I wasn't sure. I was like unsure at that point. I don't know. I think my biggest thing with this film is that it could have been short. It shorter, I should say.
yeah, it seemed to drag a little bit. There were a few scenes where it's like, okay, they're walking from point A to point B. You can cut that down just a little. Like you
Just a
don't need
little.
to cut. You don't need to cut any. The irony is like it doesn't feel like you need to cut any dialogue off.
No, no, not at all.
Like just the the scenes of walking.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we get it. You have to do a special walk to avoid, the sandworms or whatever. Like, how many times are we going to see this fucking walk?
But
How,
that one warrior also the one scene where I feel like it was a bit of a missed opportunity was I'm assuming that was Paul's father, right? The one in the gladiatorial arena, the one that wasn't drugged. I think
no, no, it wasn't his father. No, no, that was I think he was also a somebody who trained Paul in the first film. Like, I think he
okay.
was just, yeah,
Okay. I'm sorry, but as badass as you try to make your villain seem, when I mean, I know he ends up winning, but that was way too close considering the guy was probably not exactly treated well and probably like malnourished at the time.
exactly.
So it's like it's not as impressive as like you're acting like it was like this huge impressive feat, but it's like he had everything going against him at that point and he almost lost. Like
It was Fade Rotha that it was his birthday or whatever when they were in the arena, and
right.
he was going against Lanville or Linville, however you pronounce his name. And like you said, that's when I like I like went, I bent over to you and I was like, hey, like I don't know if this is the best way to portray your your best fighter here when two of the guys in the arena clearly are were handicapped.
Drugged out of their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them was just, you can tell, was very malnourished, very mistreated, abused. And you expect him to, and older, and you're expecting this young guy here who's supposed to be really talented to just to be, you know, that just for this older guy to be a rival to him. Like I just didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the one thing that was strange to me.
Trying to think what else was that stuck out to me about this film. I honestly, like I said before, like it was, I thought it was good. So like there's not really a lot of, there wasn't many bad things that, you know, I would be like, oh, I didn't like this part. You know, like I said, my only thing was the time length. But Fat Uncle Fester, man, I swear they had him on the. Remember when they had him in a chair this time? I was like, he's not supposed to be the bad guy. Like he, you know, according to Russell T Davis, the guy in the chair is supposed to be the good guy. So I don't know.
Otherwise, it's problematic.
Yeah, it's very problematic. So I'm gonna say this guy was the hero who was killed by the villain in this film, his grandson. So that's just
Yeah. Honestly, when I'm not embracing the meme, uh, I think the biggest things for me is if I could more accurately track Paul's motivation and investment.
yeah.
So I think
I think I think we
I
it
think
would
that
just
would help.
yeah, I think you just have to just have another rewatch, to be honest. Like I think it just would I think it just need another rewatch, and then once you get that, I feel like you know, I even for myself, I feel like maybe we just need to get another rewatch so we can actually understand his, you know, his motivation throughout both films, you know.
Yeah, I think so. And but for what it's worth, I would genuinely recommend watching this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Just pay attention, uh, because I get the feeling a lot of details slip by me. Like I said, unlike most things that have been made and released recently, I feel like they slip by me rather than they weren't there to be
Yeah.
found. So that's more or less my thoughts.
Well, I feel like there was a lot going on. It was 2 hours and 30 minutes plus 240. There was a lot going on. So like you really couldn't you can't pay attention to one aspect fully because you'll miss more things if you do that. So like you have to like try to really pay attention to all these plot points and these characters, their motivations, what's going on, you know, and then, you know, it builds up to, you know, the end of the film. But yeah, you really just have to pay attention to um I think that's why these films deserve like a second viewing, so you can really, it's like, okay, I went through it the first time, I watched it, I got the gist of what's going on, these characters. Now I can really focus on specific things that I had questions on, you know, the first time around. So but yeah, I mean, I thought the film was pretty good. I'd give it a 7, 8 out of 10. Probably an 8.
I'd probably say an 8. Yeah,
Just, it,
I definitely, like I said, the big thing for me is I feel like the details were there. I just missed them, as
correct.
opposed to just they weren't there. Um, and you can tell that everyone involved in this cared about the final product.
Yes. Yeah. Some movies and shows you like Madam Web, who we just watched recently. You can tell a lot of the actresses in the film were just phoning it in, like just phoning it in. Whereas in this film, a lot of the actors and actresses, they were actually legitimately um, interested in what they were doing, and there was some sincerity and some genuine stuff going on. And I love that Christopher Walken, just his voice is just everything that he's in. I love it. I can't mimic it because I'm not great at imitating his voice, but him being the emperor was just like fucking. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I get Christopher Walken voice in the emperor role here in Star Wars in space, or Star Wars uh in this universe here. But this film was definitely sci-fi as fuck. Like it was.
Yeah, it was. I'm actually pretty sure that I'm pretty sure George Lucas has come right out and said that Dune, the book series, obviously,
Yeah,
inspired Star Wars, or at
yeah,
least like inspired, obviously inspired Tatooine, and probably the Force, given the supernatural powers
yeah,
that Paul has.
yeah. It was yeah, I mean, it's definitely sci-fi as fuck. I love that about this film. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Would definitely recommend it for sure. For sure. But
Absolutely, it deserves any success it gets.
yes,
Earnestly.
definitely. Definitely. And you know what? I don't know if I'll go to the theaters and watch it again. We'll have to see about that. But I know as soon as it drops on Max, like I'm definitely gonna watch it and probably rewatch it, and just so I like watch them back to back, just to kind of see what's going on, see what I
I,
missed.
I wouldn't actually mind basically doing another review once that happens, and just review like watching them both like back to back
Yeah,
immediately
yeah,
and reviewing. Okay, now that I've seen it and know how it all plays out, I can see how all the pieces fit together.
keep it together. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Maybe we'll do a watch party or something like that.
That'd be awesome.
We can break them down by film. We can, watch it together and then pause and kind of just go over, how we feel and things like that, and what we're taking from this scene and things like that. So, just an idea.
Yeah, I remember one of my friends from high school. He read Dune, and he one of the biggest things he said about the books and the entire series is they're incredibly dense,
Yeah,
but there's no superfluous detail. Like if they're telling you something, it's because it will matter later.
right.
If he tells you this person ran up 100 steps, it's because on the 101st step he got stabbed.
You got.
Like,
There's always a reason behind these scenes. So,
yeah.
no, yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. But all right. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in to our Dune Part 2 review. We ask that you smash that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know what you guys think, what we missed. Share this video out there. Hit that bell for notifications. We thank you guys again. You guys take care.
Bye, everybody.